What are the possible QBs we could get for Carson Wentz?
Carson Wentz, like, if you're the one making the calls right now, what are you doing with Carson Wentz? Are you keeping him? Are you trading him? Do you want to pay him?
Do you want me to predict what'll happen, or what I would do?
What would you do right now? What would you do?
I would move on from Carson Wentz.
Move on from Carson Wentz. That's the same thing I would do, I believe, because you get into why you would do.
I mean, I just think because I don't think we're gonna do anything at the wide receiver position, and we'll get to receivers in a second. But I think the way Ballard talked in his press conference at the end of the year, he thinks our receiving group is fine. I don't think he's gonna go make a big splash in free agency. So if we're gonna have the same receiving core, I think we should get a little upgrade at quarterback. But can we do that? Can we make a trade with the team to get a Wilson? Or
I don't know, like they would definitely want.
What are the possible QBs we could get for Carson Wentz?
For Carson Wentz, I mean, I'm pretty
that
sure
would be upgrades. Nothing at the same level or worse.
Kirk Cousins, is that an upgrade?
No, dude. He was just in Minnesota with. Yeah. Look at the talent he had on offense. He should be thriving.
Dude,
Derek Carr. I think Derek Carr would be fine.
Derek Carr, I feel like he's. I don't know.
Derek Carr. The only thing about him is
his resume.
That's kind of what I was about to say. He only has one playoff game, and it was this past weekend. That was his first playoff game.
Yeah,
I think he's a better player than Carson Wentz, to be honest.
We choked on Stafford last offseason.
I know we did. I think it came out sometime this year that Ballard and Irsay they didn't even really consider Matthew Stafford. Like, they didn't want him at all.
That's wild.
And then look at him.
It's probably the same reason, because I don't even think he even played in the playoff game before. That was his first playoff win.
And if he did, it was like one. Yeah. Detroit was never really getting there. Yeah.
Because that was his first playoff win. And he's
so is there a realistic way we can get Russell Wilson with not having a first rounder to even throw in a trade?
I think there's a way we can get him. I don't know what it is. I think there's going to be...
what I heard today? People throw out? Sending Ryan Kelly because... Oh, wait, no. That was for Derek Carr because apparently Vegas has a bad center. But packaging Ryan Kelly, our center, because we have Danny Pinter, who has come in this year and actually do pretty good. Yeah, but I like Ryan Kelly, so I don't know.
I like Ryan Kelly. I do think that is reasonable.
Danny Pinter's a guard, though, he's done pretty well.
If we're going after Carr, I don't know, man. I don't like what we have in Wentz. I don't want Wentz. I think he's a great dude, whatever, personal life, but I just don't want him as a...
We saw Wentz was fine for about... until the last two games of the season. Wentz was fine.
Yeah,
then what he did against Vegas and Jacksonville is why everyone in this city doesn't want Wentz anymore.
I don't know if it's really Carson Wentz. I mean, it is Carson Wentz because you obviously
the throws he was missing was on him.
But
the O-line got manhandled in Jacksonville. I can kind of give him that, but he missed some very key throws at the same time.
Because let me look at the stats real quick. When you look at Carson Wentz as a quarterback, as his stats really were just weird, man. Like, for example,
it's our whole passing offense.
Yeah, it's the passing offense. I understand we have the best running back in the league, okay? And I understand that. I understand when...
what that should do to our passing, though? That should open it up.
It should open it up. I can't tell you Adrian Peterson's quarterback stats at that time in his career and that kind of thing.
Yeah. If he went through and looked at it, we could have it, but...
But this is what I'm going to say. Just listen to this. If you didn't know who the name was, you would definitely be like, that guy's ass. 148 passing yards, 225, 57, 158, 106, 180. Then he has 300.
Yeah.
Then we're at 272. Then we're at 150 again. And, there's too many 100-yard games in there. And I understand that it doesn't matter because we're winning those games. But it's wild because we need a quarterback. That's it.
Yeah. And talking about just our passing offense in general, we know Michael Pittman had a 1,000-yard season. Below him, we don't have anybody with over 400. Pascal had 384. Taylor was the third leading receiver with 360. There's no middle guy there. It's Pittman and then nothing. So Pittman leads with 88 receptions. The next lowest is 40. And that's tied with Hines and Taylor, our running backs.
Yeah,
what? Our running backs.
Running backs. That's wild, dude.
That's just the offense we have. I don't understand that. And just to pull up for reference, I pulled up the Packers passing game because they have Devontae Adams. He has 1,500 yards, and then next is 513 with Lazard. Valdez-Scantling has 430. So there's a little bit of there, but there's nothing with the Colts.
Yeah.
That's a problem. That's a big problem.
So what do you think's gonna happen?
I think we got to get through the playoffs and let the Wilson and Rodgers domino kind of fall because I think the only way Aaron Rodgers stays in Green Bay is if they
Dude,
reach a Super Bowl. I think if they reach it, maybe he'll come back next year. But if I don't think anything but a Super Bowl appearance, he's gone.
So I'm gonna do something on film here today. This is kind of really bold. Really, no one's gonna really believe this or even probably.
You putting something out there?
Aaron Rodgers is the Colts, okay?
No.
Okay, listen,
No
okay, I'm not
chance.
saying it's gonna exactly happen. I'm not saying that I'm going to bed thinking that's gonna happen. But I'm gonna just give you this scenario of Aaron Rodgers coming to the Colts. He's got the good connection with Pat McAfee. All right, so
Correct.
he's kind of the Colts fan base already knows him pretty well, and him coming into Indy would be kind of dope, man. You got Pat McAfee, the big Colts guy, and then you got Aaron Rodgers. So I don't know, man.
Let's look at I don't think he's a free agent this offseason. What could we do to get Aaron Rodgers?
We would have to do something. I don't know, man.
Jameis Winston's a free agent.
No, don't do that, man.
I don't think we have a lot of capital. We don't have that first rounder, and anybody that's looking to deal their quarterback is going to want at least a first rounder in return, and that's where it makes it really difficult for us to get someone like elite to immediately come in and fix.
The problem is Ballard likes to build in the draft, and whenever you
That's
go
been
out,
his downfall, to be
and
honest.
the thing that sucks is right now we have okay, I can't say this anymore because I would say we have the team to really make a run, but then
We're missing those couple key ones.
But we think our defense is good enough, and we get torched by Trevor Lawrence.
We can't get Trevor Lawrence and the Jags offense off the field.
And I hope you
for an
guys
entire
know
half.
that all season I've been saying Trevor Lawrence is still going to be the best quarterback in this draft class.
That's a good point.
Yeah. Anyways,
He had a great game to end his season on because he was terrible, bro. He went like 9 games without throwing a touchdown pass. He throws one on the first drive of the game against us. Like, come on.
do you know Trey Lance actually has a crazy fan base around him? Because I said something on TikTok.
North Dakota State, baby.
Someone said I saw TikTok that was like Trey Lance will be the best quarterback ever. Da, 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 da. And I commented and I said he's not even top 3 in his draft class. And literally the comments just went wild.
They attacked you?
They went crazy. They said they were acting like he was Superman. But I got a better question for you. So Colts in the offseason, you got to choose one. Are you signing a major quarterback and getting rid of Wentz, or are you signing a major wide receiver?
And keeping Wentz?
Keeping Wentz.
I'm saying it's going to be easier to get a wide receiver, and we have to stay with Wentz, which I'm okay with that. I think that'll be perfectly fine for our offense. Now, I want to bring up something to you. You said that Ballard loves his draft picks. Everyone in this town knows it. We all know it. But he's refusing. How many off seasons in a row is this? Are we saying we need to get something in free agency at the wide receiver? Look at the teams around the league that are still playing, and look at their receivers. Cincy, we know Cincy's. Tennessee, AJ Brown and Julio Jones.
Buccaneers.
Yes, the Rams, Odell Beckham. They made a mid-season trade this year to get Odell Beckham. The Packers, Devontae Adams. The Niners.
Oh yeah, they
got Buffalo, Stephon Diggs. You need elite. Yes, listen, and we'll get to him later.
Oh, I wanted to say it so bad I forgot all about it. 49ers wide receiver Jawan, I think his name is Jawan Jennings. Colts need to get him. I believe he's a free agent after this year. Great wide receiver, just balling out in the playoffs. He's one of those great third down receivers because he catches everything.
Let's use this time right now to talk about some of the free agent receivers this year or this offseason. And like we said, if there's any time Ballard's going to make a play, it needs to be now. Allen Robinson, Chris Godwin, Devontae Adams, Will Fuller, Juju, Emmanuel Sanders, AJ Green, Sammy Watkins, Mike Williams. You get one of those guys to pair with Pittman, it's an upgrade.
I put Godwin on top of all that, really.
Pick one of those names that I just said, and our passing offense will be fine.
I think I've heard a lot of things about Christian Kirk coming from the Cardinals. and I think that's reasonable. Christian Kirk isn't in his. I mean, I guess he kind of is the number one guy now in Arizona, other than AJ Green, but because D Hop's obviously on IR, but I think Christian Kirk would be a good fit for the Colts. He's kind of the deep threat guy. Michael Pittman.
And that's Carson Wentz for us.
Yeah,
Wentz wants to throw the deep ball.
And I'm a believer in still the receivers the Colts have. I believe in Mike Strawn. I believe in Ashton Doolin.
I believe in Ashton Doolin a lot.
One player that
but Doolin's not a 2 guy. He's a 3 or 4 guy.
Yeah. They need to. I don't know.
You know what else we need? I think we need an elite playmaker at tight end, and you know who's available is Zach Ertz.
I saw that. Yep. And I also saw
Zach Ertz, Jimmy Graham, Gronk, Eric Ebron. What if we bring Ebron back?
Oh man, I don't know.
People forget he had 14 touchdowns that last season when he just popped off with us. 14 touchdowns.
He's also got a lot of beef with Colts fans.
He does, though, just the way he left.
So,
Mo Cox is a free agent this year. Do we keep him because Doyle is retiring?
I don't think we use Mo Cox as much. I feel like we should literally just launch the ball to him at least once a drive.
Because no one's guarding him. No one's gonna even get close to him.
Virginia basketball player, come on.
VCU. He had 316 yards receiving this year. I think we need a tight end presence in the passing game. So I think Zach Ertz could be a definite play. But will he leave Arizona? Because he is a free agent. But is that a possibility that he hits the market, or are they just re-signing that?
I believe the way this season ended, I think he would possibly leave. I believe if they would have made a championship run, they could have all gathered around and be like, look, we can do this next year. But how bad that ended is probably weird, awkward in the locker room.
Just imagine Ertz and Wentz back together.
That and this. I also saw some draft picks coming at tight end. I understand that you can't really just. There's not probably too many tight ends on the table.
We got Granson, son.
Granson. Not a big guy. I'm not a big Granson guy, okay?
I know. He's not a big guy, really, in general. He's like a weird-sized tight end.
We put a lot of faith in him, though.
Also, the tight end for the Colts needs to be big and run blocking, too. And losing Doyle, because we're all under the assumption that Jack Doyle is going to retire. And we might lose T.Y. because he's going to base off what he's doing off Jack Doyle. He's said that numerous times.
Yep.
So we all think Doyle's gone, so T.Y.'s probably gone. And Doyle's been a great run blocker. I think Mo Cox, I don't know enough. I don't think he's anything crazy, but I don't think he's bad at run blocking. But that's something to keep in mind with the Colts for their tight ends. There's a lot of plays we can make on the offense. Yeah. You told me if I was making the calls, what would I do? I would say we move on from Wentz. What I think is going to happen is they're not going to get anything better in return, so they're going to keep him.
I think our best bet... I don't know, man. I don't know if it's really...
We have until March to decide, so...
I really think the problem this season was that when we started out this season, Frank Reich is not a run-heavy guy. He's not,
He's a quarterback.
Yeah, he's a quarterback. So the problem is from the start of the season, that was not the mindset, was to give Taylor the ball 20-plus times a game. And we quickly realized, it wasn't quickly, it was 5 games.
It was not quickly at all.
It was 5 games, we realized maybe we should give Jonathan Taylor the ball more than 10 times. And... when that happened, I think really the whole preparation and our playbook and everything was built around Carson Wentz throwing 40 times a game. That was what it was built around. And they realized that, we probably
they still never really fully realized that JT needs 25 to 30 a game.
And I feel like there's a lot of dumb plays being called, such as a 3rd and 10 throwing a screen. That's just a Colts thing.
The 1st and 10 interceptions by Wentz this year, there was a couple of them. Why are we passing on 1st and 10? The one in overtime against the Titans was a 1st and 10, and the one in Jacksonville was a 1st and 10. Yeah, why? What are you forcing on 1st down?
The thing about Jonathan Taylor is the only excuse that you can give yourself as a team is maybe the passing yards not being so much because Jonathan Taylor's taking up 2,000 yards a season.
Which, I'll take it.
But I feel like as a coaching standpoint, you already know that when Jonathan Taylor gets the ball, it doesn't matter if the defense knows you're running or not. He's going to get yards. He might lose 1 or 2 yards in every 3 games, but he's going to get a yard or 2, and
he's the back. We've said it numerous times in this podcast that gets better as the game goes on. The defense is wearing down. Jonathan Taylor is getting even better. So
are we potentially gonna ruin someoand's career like Andrew Luck?
Nah, I don't think so. But
I ain't saying that.
So what we can end this discussion. You haven't even answered. If you're making the calls, what do the Colts do at quarterback?
If I'm making the calls right now, I don't think Carson Wentz has it. The thing is yes, it's gonna suck to see him go somewhere else, and then like if he plays well somewhere else, I
He's
don't
not
know.
starting anywhere else. If he
Yeah,
when he leaves us, he's going to be a backup.
unless
That's
it's
maybe
like Houston or something like that.
or like the Giants or something. Yeah.
Yeah. I think that if it was me in the hot seat right now, or not the hot seat, but you know what I mean, make the calls. I'm giving. You got to really see what's there. If you
Not
believe,
even again, not even seeing what's there is if you can get what's there.
yeah, I'm gonna. I think the smart call for the future is to keep Wentz, build on the wide receiver level, and just keep Wentz there. Maybe just
Because,
next
dude,
year.
I don't want to go through another offseason and then starting next year, week one, with a new quarterback. We've done it like 3 years in a row. We need
Yeah,
to build some sort of like, you know.
yeah, but you could also say the same thing about the Giants, man. They've kept on the Daniel Jones, just kind of
But
hoping,
Daniel
hoping.
Jones is terrible. The whole Giants off.
I
That's a
don't
bad
think
team.
I'm
That's not a
not. I
comparison.
don't think Daniel Jones is
I'm saying like the
bad.
Giants organization compared to the Colts is just it's different.
Yeah. Uh, I mean, there's probably some crazy things they go out there. Deshaun Watson's, I think, even on the table probably.
Sean Watson's interesting.
Uh, I saw a thing today where he went on like the radio or something like that and was like, yeah, basically he's not going to play for the Texans like ever again, something like that. But
Oh yeah, that's been known before even last year.
oh really?
Yeah, I mean he's never going to go back to there. It's a conflict with like the ownership thing with him. He just wants out, and you
Yeah.
see what they did.
Um,
Another change I think the Colts need, and that I don't think they're going to do because Chris Ballard said in that same press conference that there's going to be. He might have said this verbatim that there's going to be no staff changes, or he hinted at it. But I think we need to move on from our defensive coordinator Matt Eberflus. I
yeah.
mean, yeah, we had all these takeaways and blah blah blah, but I think our whole defense is built around getting those takeaways. And if we don't, you saw the first half against the worst team in the whole league.
Yep.
We couldn't get them off the field. And that's a very common issue with Eberflus. And I think looking at who's available, granted, if they don't get another head coaching job, they're both defensive guys, very good defensive coaches. I think we should go after like who's available because Eberflus is just we know what we're getting from him.
Yeah. I
His defensive scheme is just bad.
I don't
I don't
even.
even know enough about defensive schemes, but it's bad.
You could also say, I mean,
It's too soft.
your defense is gonna be bad when you have Sandejo starting at safety too. So
Yeah, the loss of Julian Blackman this year really hurt us. That's
I
a
literally
talking point.
forgot.
No one really says. I know
I forgot
exactly.
he even played for the Colts. Like I was like,
Yeah,
someone said Julian Blackman in the
that's an
press conference, and I was
Achilles,
like, whoa,
so
wait, that's a
it's a
tough.
long rehab process.